Welcome to the video that offers tips for you as you administer the Kindergarten eNumeracy Diagnostic Screener. As you look at the examiner score sheet, you may notice towards the top a hesitation rule, that if the student doesn't respond within 10 seconds, to move on to the next item. Use this as a guideline to relieve student frustration, not cause it. Hesitation could occur for any number of reasons. If you see a student hesitate for 10 seconds, ask them what they're thinking. If what the student is thinking is way off the mark, then utilize the hesitation rule to simply move on to the next item saying, let's try this one. If the student says, I don't know what to do, then clarify the directions and try again. If the student is still unable to respond, utilize the hesitation rule to simply move on to the next item or perhaps even the next section if the student is frustrated. If the student responds that they are still thinking about their response to the item, give them a bit more time. If their answer is accurate, keep in mind that the particular student may simply want or need a bit more time to process. That's useful information to know. Don't cut them off just because it takes them longer than 10 seconds. The purpose of the hesitation rule is to relieve frustration, not to cause it. You also notice that in each section, the approximate amount of time is to be recorded. Now, this can be overwhelming for a teacher, trying to count time as well as record answers and note what you observe about the student during the assessment. Try to record the times in each section for your own information about the relative fluency of your students in each task. But failing that, at least record an overall time for the examination as a whole. Don't stress about it, but do have some time frame recorded for your information about student fluency. To give the assessment all at once or not. The examiner score sheet is divided into 6 sections. Each one stands on its own and can be given separately. The benefit of breaking it up is that it takes smaller chunks of individual days. However, that's a lot of transition time, getting students to and from your kidney table for just a few items. The main thing for you to know is you don't have to give the entire screener in one sitting, but you certainly can, and the screener was designed to be able to be given in one sitting. But if you find yourself pressed for time and think, maybe I can do 2 or 3 sections with a series of students at a stretch while their classmates work on something else, then you can certainly exercise your professional judgment in screening your students during that beginning of your window. Using manipulatives during the assessment. Kindergarten teachers who were early adopters of these materials in the 2017-2018 school year provided feedback that while they loved having everything in one place with the binder, they felt they could get better information about their students if students actually had physical counters to touch for all sections instead of pointing, for instance, to count 2-dimensional dots. Whether or not an individual student needs tactile stimuli to be able to engage in a task is useful information. So try it with the binder as is at first. And if you have a student who's not able to engage in a particular section or sections, use your discretion and try similar tasks again, using more tactile means with them. Some possibilities include 2-color counters, number lines, using numeral cards instead of the 4 numerals in a square, and using paper to create a window to reduce how many numbers are seen at once in the number recognition section. Since you will need counting bears for the last section anyway, you could ask students to count the bears arranged in an array instead of counting arrays of dots. If the student is able to productively engage in the task with the manipulatives when they were unable to do so with the binder, take that information into consideration as you analyze your data. That student might not need intervention beyond Tier 1.